Hi guys, so let's move now towards another variant of a partnership question that can come across the exam. We've learned how to draw the appropriation account and current account where everything is given. But sometimes Cambridge likes to play around with missing information, particularly at AS level. So let's take a look at this question. Okay, so they're saying that Henry and Robin are in a partnership. They both have a capital of 120,000 and 80,000 respectively. On 1st June 2010, which is the opening date, Henry has a debit balance on his current account 6600, whereas Robin has a credit balance on his current account 1000. Now they've given us the opening current account balance. This is usually given to us. Okay, but then on the next line, what you guys can see is on 31st May 2011, Henry has a credit balance on his current account. Now, they've also given to us the closing current account balance. Now, what this implies is if they've given you the closing current account balance, there must be something which they would want you to calculate. All right. So, if they've done this, there is some information which is missing, which we will be supposed to calculate it. All right. So, let's read the question and we'll understand this. Okay. So, let me take you guys forward now. Okay. Now they're saying the partnership agreement stated the following: interest on capital is 8%. Okay, maximum drawings permitted is 10% of the capital. That's the maximum you can withdraw. Interest on drawings is 5%. Annual partnership salary is 5,000 and 4,000. Profits and losses are to be shared in the ratio of their capital invested. So we just saw their capital sharing ratio was 180 and 80,000 respectively. That's for Henry and Robin. So that becomes a ratio of 3:2. That's their profit sharing ratio, which is also given to us. They're also saying both partners withdrew the maximum amount. So remember, maximum drawings that was allowed was 10% of their capital. So I can say for Henry over here, if his capital was 120,000, he would withdraw at the rate of 10% $12,000. That's for Henry. Whereas for Robin, his capital was 80,000. So he would draw 10% of that. That's 8,000. Now that's the drawings. All right. So now we know the drawings figure as well. Now, what is surprising over here is in the first part of the question. So if I bring you guys over here, I've also prepared it for you. They're saying prepare the current account. Now, usually we're supposed to first draw the appropriation account and then draw the current account. But in part A, they're asking us to draw the current account directly. Now, what this means is that we cannot draw the appropriation account first. Now, if we know our salary, we know the interest on capital, we know the drawings. It means that the one thing that is missing from here is the profit for the year. We do not know the income statement profit for the year. That's your missing figure. Now, our job is to find that information. So we will just follow their way. We will first draw the current account and we'll see that what can we find out from here. So let me enter all the information that is available for the current account. Okay, so now I've written down all the information for you. Remember, they stated earlier that Henry has a debit current account balance. I've written it on the debit side. This is the positive side. That's the negative side. Robin has a credit current account balance of 1,000, which I've written down on the credit side. Right now, what did the partners get? First thing we saw in the agreement, they both were getting a salary. I've written that down. Henry gets a salary of 5,000. Robin gets a salary of 4,000. I've written that down on the credit side. Interest on capital. Now remember, interest on capital was 8% of their capital. So I've already done that. So 120,000 was the capital for Henry. So we calculated that at 8%. And for Robin, similarly, it was 8% at 6,400. Okay, now we do not know the share of profit. All right, because since we did not know the profit for the year, we could not draw the appropriation account. I don't have this figure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to treat this to be my missing information. That's missing from the current account, which is why they've already given me the closing current account just for Henry, which is available over here. You guys can see that Henry's closing current account 10,400 is already available. Okay, now one thing I would want to state over here. They had written that Henry had a credit current account balance. So if Henry has a credit current account balance, it means his balance brought down would appear somewhere over here. It means his receiving side is greater than the withdrawal side. So his balance carried down, which is 10,400, should come over here. I hope you guys understand this. A question will refer to balance. They will always refer to the balance brought down, not the balance carried down. All right. So when they say that Henry has a credit balance of 10,400, they're saying that's his balance brought down. So his credit balance means that his balance carried down should appear on the debit side or on the opposite side. Okay, now we also know that drawings 12,800. We know the interest on drawings at 5%. That's 600 and 400. Now what we'll do is we'll go backwards. We need to find the missing information, which is the share of profit. So what everyone should do first is that since something is missing from the credit side, let's find the total of the debit side.
Quick pause. If you're finding value in this explanation, there's so much more to discover. At Alt Academy, we break down every A-level concept with the same level of clarity. Now, let's continue.
So if we total up Henry's debit column, we should get a total of 29,600. You guys can check 6,600, 12,600 and 10,400. Now this means that this side should also be 29,600. All right. So in order to make this 29,600, what's the missing figure? So the missing figure or the share of profit for Henry should be 15,000. You guys can check it over here. 29,600 minus 5,000 minus 9,600. It means that Henry must have received a share of profit equal to 15,000. So that was the missing figure we had to calculate. Now, if I know Henry's share of profit, I can find that out for Robin. Why is that? Because I know they were sharing profits and losses in the ratio 3:2. So if Henry gets 15,000, it means Robin should get 10,000 over here. So Robin's share of profit is $10,000. I've calculated that as well. Now, once I know Robin's share of profit, what I can do is I can find Robin's closing current account. So for Robin, since I know his share of profit, I'll first find the total of his credit column. That should be 21,400. If we add everything up, I'll subtract it from the debit side. That should give me a balance carried down of 13,000. That's the closing balance for Robin. All right, and this should also be 21,400. So I can say Robin will also have a credit balance brought down equal to $13,000. So what I've done over here is, since I had the closing current account balance, I went backwards to find the missing information, which is share of profit, which is why the question first specified drawing the current account. Now, since I've completed my current account, I can go backwards and find the missing information, which is the profit for the year. So let's do that in the next part. Okay, so you guys can see in part B, they're asking us to calculate profit for the year, which was not available. So what I can say is I can write this down. Whenever I have profit for the year, what I do is the first thing is I add interest on drawings to it. So I'm just writing that down as IOD. Then I subtract any salaries that I pay. I subtract interest on capital, and that gives me the residual profit, all right, or the profit available for distribution. That's how we draw our appropriation account. So I'm just making an equation out of it. Okay, so let's see what numbers are available. Okay, now we do not know the profit for the year, so I'm going to write this as X. For interest on drawings, we know that they both got an interest on drawings and they both had to pay this interest on drawings equal to 600 plus 400. That's their interest on drawings. This amount was added to the profit since the business gets additional profit from here. They both were paid a salary, which was 5,000 and 4,000. That's a total salary of 9,000 was paid to them. They both were paid interest on capital. You guys can refer to your current account, 9600 and 6400. This was paid to them. Now, what was the residual profit? So guys, your share of profit, which we just found in our current account, was 15,000 profit was given to Henry and 10,000 profit was given to Robin. So that means the residual profit that was available for distribution should be 25,000, right? So that's a simple equation which I've drawn from our appropriation account. At AS level, it is very important to start thinking of all formats as some sort of equation which you can use to find missing information. So this becomes X plus 1,000 minus 9,000 minus 16,000 is equal to 25,000, right? So that's your simple equation. So if you guys solve for X, you should get your profit for the year to be 49,000. That's your final profit figure. So this means that from the income statement, this figure comes from your income statement. Your profit for the year was 49,000, on which you got an interest of 1,000 that was given by partners as interest on drawings. You had to pay 9,000 salary out of it. You had to pay 16,000 as interest on capital. So 25,000 was left, which was distributed as 15,000 and 10,000 between Robin. So what we did just right now is we went backwards. We first drew the current account and then we calculated the profit for the year. The purpose of doing this question is you guys should also be aware of such a situation when the examiner can ask you to go backwards and first draw the current account. Alright, so I hope you guys understand this. Now I think I've touched the basic concept of appropriation, current account and final accounts. So now from the next video, I will start with structural changes in partnership, where we will also introduce concepts such as goodwill.
Our complete A-levels accounting course is waiting for you on our website. In addition to accounting, you can also find business, economics, maths, and 4 other full A-level offerings. So thousands of students who've already unlocked their potential. Visit All to Get Me right now.